Good evening and welcome to another edition of Choose the Challenge. I am LaWanna Bradford, and one of the things that I like to come and talk to you about every single week about the things that are impeding us as women from elevating to the highest and best version of ourselves. Those things may be systems, institutions, mindsets, relationships, things that are keeping you from elevating to the best version of you. And in the show, we have hard conversations that challenges those thoughts and beliefs centered around those items. And today we're going to talk about believing and feeling 5 keys to achieving your goals in 2023. Now, a little bit about me. I have been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. Can't believe that much time has passed. And during my entrepreneurial journey, it has been an ebb and flow of opportunities, challenges, hurdles from a business standpoint, relationship standpoint, family standpoint, even health has challenged me in going where I needed to go, when I wanted to get there. And during these times, I've had to quiet myself so that I could be still and hear clearly what I needed to do, the next move I needed to make. You know, it's so easy when you're in a state of crises, right? A state of panic, a state of angst, to want to quickly move and get out of it. And sometimes we can move in the wrong direction, or sometimes we can seek the, the wrong counsel for where we are. Or sometimes we can look into what someone else is doing and think, oh, that's the way out, or that's the way to get to where I want to be. But remember, all situations aren't created equal. However, success does leave clues. And in my years of experience, I have, and I'll just focus on one particular story within my first company, which was Pro Starter Sports, a commercial licensed sporting apparel. And we were rocking and rolling. Things were going great, but you know, sometimes you grow too fast. And that's what happened to us. We grew too fast and didn't have the capacity or the resources to meet the demands, to the point that we ended up shutting our doors. And you may think, well, that doesn't make sense. You were getting business. Yes, we were. But based on the type of business that we were in and the amount of money that we had to invest up front to have the types of products, we just couldn't keep up with the demand. But one of the things that kept us going, and I think what has kept me moving forward as a entrepreneur for over 30 years, is believing and feeling. We've heard of the law of attraction, the law of reversibility, the law of cause and effect. There are numerous laws out there, right? But some of us may feel that, well, it's not really working for me. You know, I'm believing, but I'm not seeing the results. Or I'm doing, but I feel like I'm on that hamster wheel. I'm grinding, I'm moving with determination, but I'm not going anywhere. Or maybe you had those goals in your life, goals in your business. At the beginning of this year, what were your goals? January 2022, excuse me. January 2022, January 1st. What were your goals? What were your visions? I know you have them. We all do. And when we're starting to wrap up 2022, it's sometimes a little unsettling when we look back and we're thinking, I'm not quite there. We look at that journal, we look at that goal board or that vision board. It's like, how did I not hit my mark? You may have hit some. And for some of you, you may have not even landed anywhere on the playing field. But what I want to encourage you is to not give up. The first thing is you have to have clarity of focus. If you clear, and this is a foundation, this isn't the 5 steps yet, clarity of focus. If you know that you know where you're going and why you're doing what you're doing, let that be the anchor that holds you, that enables you to persevere. One of the things that Steve Jobs says is that perseverance is a separator from those who are successful and those who want to be successful. Success isn't always overnight. It's so easy for us to look at individuals and think, oh my gosh, look at them. They're an overnight success. But we don't see the backstory. We don't see the years and sometimes decades of them honing their craft, staying in their lane, nose to the grindstone. We don't see that. We just suddenly see, oh, this person has popped up on the scene and they're an overnight sensation. I was reading something about Kevin Hart, the comedian, and how he's being celebrated by just all the great things that he is currently accomplishing, all the things that are being attracted to his life at this time. And many people are thinking, look at that, just a few years and he's landed on top of the world. But if you listen to him tell his story, he'll tell you his current success was 19 years in the making. Cyrus Webb, an influencer, one of the top Amazon reviewers in the nation. He is known for interviewing celebrities, influencers all over the globe. People look at him and say, wow, that's an overnight success. I was talking to him last week and he said, LaWanna, can you believe I'm celebrating 20 years with his first baby, his first line of business, 20 years. But what people see is like the last 3 to 4 years, where it looks like, wow, he's just rising. He's a shooting star, but it's like, but you didn't see all the pain. You didn't see all the years of sacrifice. You didn't see the late nights, again, of the grind. So I just want you to pause right now. Those of you who are in business, are thinking about being in business. What are your goals for 2023? Now, this isn't an exercise about strategic planning. This isn't talking about come up with your goals and let's develop all the tactics to get there. This goes a little bit deeper. This goes into the inner size that's going to be needed in order for you to actualize, manifest that which you are seeking. So what are those goals? If you have them next to you, pull them out. Look at them during this episode. Your goals should be readily available to you. They should be on your phone. Some people have them in their wallet. Some people have them as a screensaver. Some people are able to look to their wall and see them. Do you look at them every day? So again, right now I'm just setting the foundation. This isn't getting into the 5 steps, but you want to know where you're going and why it is so critical at this point of time in your life journey, at this point of time in your entrepreneurial journey quest. Why now? Why this? Think about it. Have you asked yourself really why? When you peel back the onion and you get to the root, that compelling root, then you found your anchor. You found that element that is going to help you to persevere through the challenges, through the hardships, sometimes the decades of grind. But I promise you that when you do reach your goal, whether you reach it in 1 or 2 years, 10 or 15 years, it's just as sweet. The reward is just as sweet. The victory feels just as good. One of the things you'll hear me say often is success leaves clues. And that's so true. I encourage you to become a student of those who are where you want to be. Become a student of what did they do? Not just in their business, but what practical practicum did they employ in their day-to-day life? What did they do? How did they show up for themselves every day? I bet they weren't making excuses. I bet they learned how to say no. I was on a call today and someone was talking about the word focus, and that focus is being so overused that people really don't sit in it. What does focus really mean? When you say I'm focused, does it mean that you're laserly, you're locked in like a laser to that target? Or when you say you're focused, does it mean you're readjusting your vision? What are you doing when you say you are focused? And when you look at your life and how you show up every day, is it the complement of the focus? Is it saying that yes, you say you're focused and your actions are saying yes, you are focused? See, I can't say that I'm totally focused and I spend the whole weekend binging on my favorite shows, weekend after weekend after weekend. Am I focused or am I sometimes a little distracted? Do I get caught up in the squirrel moments? Those are easy to do. There's a lot of distraction out there. How much time are you spending on social media? Laughing, seeing one TikTok video, and the next thing you know, you're caught up in the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Suddenly 2 or 3 hours have passed, and you've gotten your laugh on. You feel really good, but you didn't move 1 inch closer to where you said you were going. Now that we've set the stage and we've set the foundation, let's talk about believing. Wherever you say that you are going, whatever you say that you are going to do, the first thing before you believe is to ask, right? You want to speak it. You want to speak it into existence. You want to say, I'm a person of faith. So you ask whatever it is that you want, ask. Hear yourself asking for it. Open your mouth and hear yourself saying it. Write it down. What is it that you want? When we're writing down our goals, that is a form of asking. We are writing down a letter to the universe, to God, to our higher selves, whatever you choose to call that power that is greater than you. We are asking. So I encourage you to get actively involved in your goals. Write them down. Speak them. Hear yourself saying them over and over again every day. Read them. Some may think, well, I don't need to write them down. I got it here. I'm telling you, there's something that happens. There's a shift, internal shift that happens within you when you take the time and clearly write out your goal. Very clear. And then you speak it. So let's say, for example, your goal is to buy a home. And you have the date that you want to have a home. And you simply say, I want to buy a home in May of 2023. Well, that's not something that you can really see. A home is a home, but what kind of home? So get very crystal clear in it to the point that you are able to see it. Take your time. If your goals are that important to you, take your time and write it out. Do you want a single family? Do you want a townhome? What is it that you're looking for? You want a condo? Where do you want the home to be? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Low maintenance? Do you want a lot of property? Do you want a home in the city, in the suburbs, in the country? Do you want it to be brick, stucco? part siding? What is it that you want? I want you to sit back and see what it is that you are asking for as though it already is. See, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. But it's so crystallized in your asking that when it comes, you know it, right? It's so clear, because sometimes when we're not crystal clear in our asking, any opportunity may do. Give you an example. Years ago, my husband and I were going to buy a home, and we actually started building the home. Because we knew exactly the area we wanted to be in, and so we're building the home and felt really good about it. And how I came upon the lot that we were going to build on, I was driving to our church during the week, and I suddenly heard, because we got that inner voice, for me it was God saying, turn here. Well, if you think about it, God's not going to cause you to risk your life to make a quick turn, right? He's going to give you a little warning, but I quickly turned. I mean, it was like, turn here. And, I jumped in front of traffic to get to this subdivision. Convinced my husband, this is where we need to be. Started building this home. It appeared to be perfect. 2 weeks before we were due to close, we go in to do one of the final, next to the last inspection on the home, and it had stormed really bad a couple days prior. When we walked in the home, it literally was raining in the home. So we didn't know if it was a leak from the roof, if a pipe had burst upstairs, but in the family room, it seemed like it was raining inside the home. That was one issue. The second issue, in the family room, there were 2 pillars. One of the pillars was kind of leaning like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And then there was this beautiful fireplace that literally was coming from the wall. And I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Why are we having all these issues? I know this is where we're supposed to be. So my husband said, we're not getting this home. Even though they said they can fix it, nope, we're not going to do this. And we ended up losing our earnest money because we pulled out. They were saying, look, we can fix it. It's not an issue. But we said no. So we lose our earnest money. And I said, I know what I heard. Sometimes you know that you know, right? I'm like, I know that this is where we're supposed to be. And so we drove out a different way from the subdivision. And there was an adjacent subdivision. Long story short, we drive to return. And I said, that's it. And he goes, what? I said, that's our house. And he said, no, we're supposed to build. I said, no, that's our house. So we go there, and there's a sign. He said, LaWanna, it says it's under contract. I said, no, that's the house. And we went to the agent's office, and we said, we'd like to buy this house. They said, it's under contract. We said, we understand, but we want to buy this house. It's under contract. We understand. My husband said, how much will it take for me to just write a check? And if the contract falls through, we want to be next in line. So they told us, he wrote a check. We go on our merry way. A week later, we get a phone call. The husband and wife that were supposed to be moving there from New Orleans, something happened and they weren't able to make it. They said, we're going to have to pull back. We'll have to come to Atlanta some other time. So we ended up buying that home. Why I share this kind of circuitous story is sometimes we can be so rash in thinking that we hear something, that we don't sit in it, right? And make sure that we're getting the right guidance. So because I quickly turned, we ended up going down the wrong lane. But that wasn't where we were supposed to be. And so sometimes the universe will come and just put his finger on a situation to mess it up, because that's not where we're supposed to be. And that's what happened with that house, to slowly guide you to where you need to be. So again, when you're asking, be crystal clear, because had I gone back and looked at what we had written down in the journal and what we had been praying about, that home was almost, but not quite. It was second best, but we thought, but it'll work. This is, we're building it, it's going to work. And it's like, but that, it wasn't quite right. But the moment we both walked in the home, in the second home, we knew the energy, the feeling. So now the second thing, so asking, but the second is believing. That knowing that you know that you know, when you have that level of believing, that's where it's like you're sitting expecting. You're just expecting. You've asked, you believe that it's been heard, and now you're expecting, right? You're anticipating. See, oftentimes we ask, but we don't believe. We ask and we ask in doubt. We ask and we're a little skeptical. It's like, well, I'm going to ask, but it's never happened for me, or I've never seen anyone succeed in this. But I'll ask. And that goes into our subconscious limiting beliefs that are triggering the responses that the universe is able to give us. It's not that the universe doesn't want to respond and give us all that we want, but those limiting beliefs that are buried sometimes really deep are blocking. It's like, nope, nope. So you're saying, I want this. I want to be successful as a speaker. But then it's like, I don't know if I can really command an audience. But I want to be successful. Oh, I wonder if someone's really going to invite me to their stage. You see how you're being incongruent? So the second thing is believing, having a level of belief in what you do. I love what someone is saying right now. Thank you for your comment. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. That is brilliant. That's gold. Do not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Yes, and that happens time and time again. Individuals are like, okay, well, I'm here, but I'm walking with you, so I'm doing this again, that comparisonitis, and it can be crippling and even devastating to where you're going, because now you're looking in someone's else's lane, instead of saying, this is where I am, and I'm going to show up for me authentically and intentionally every single day. The third thing, so we talked about asking. You want to ask, you want to write it out, you want to speak it, you want to believe it. So even if that means praying that those limiting beliefs, any obstacles, anything that may be that you may not even be aware of, again, those unconscious things that could be crippling you, you want to get rid of those. The third thing is you want to think about what you want. Again, number 3, you want to think about what you want. I'm going to say that again. You want to think about what you want. And you may say, well, LaWanna, why are you repeating yourself? Because so many times we think about what we don't want. We think about what we don't want to happen. But if you think on those things that you want, then you're starting to align, right? The asking, the believing, and the thinking, the meditating, the focusing is on exactly what you want. And sometimes that's hard, because it's easy when those fears crop up, again, those limiting beliefs crop up, and it causes us to get into a lane of thinking about what we don't want. What if? What if I get on stage and I get booed? What if I sign up to speak, or I start this new program and no one shows up? What if I have a program and I don't sell any tickets? What if I open up this business and I don't succeed? Do you see how you're kind of turning your goals upside down because you're focusing on what you don't want, rather than what you want. We're going to pause for a moment, and I'm going to give a little commercial break, but think about that. Where's your focus? What are you thinking about every day? Are you letting your fears drive you? Or your dream and faith hold you anchored in the belief that it will come to pass? Welcome back to the second half of Choose the Challenge, where we are talking about believing and feeling the 5 keys to achieve your goal in 2023. Now, we've gone over 3. We set the foundation, remember that, but we've gone over 3, which is to ask, to believe, and to think about what it is you want, rather than think about what you don't want. Think about what you want rather than think about the things you don't want to happen. That's so critical. And for many people, when they say the law of attraction isn't working, that sometimes is that little nagging thorn that is preventing you from elevating to the next level, and then to the next level, and to the next level, because of those limiting beliefs, those unconscious fears, your negative self-talk that is causing you to focus more on the what ifs rather than what will and what can and what will be. I mean, when you even think about that and you sit in that, looking at your goals right now, if you have them in front of you, and you're speaking that to them, you're speaking life to them, rather than looking at them fearfully like, oh my gosh, if I have this show, and what if I lose money? What if you don't? What if you reach 1 million people? What if you reached one person and change one person's life? Because I always believe if you change the life of one person, where they shift their consciousness and their behaviors, you've just changed the next generation, because now they're going to teach this new mindset. They're going to be demonstrating a new way of being to those around them. Number 4, feeling. So believing and feeling. When you are able to ask with clarity, and you're able to believe that it's there, and you're able to focus on it and think about it and meditate on it, then you're able to feel it. There's an energetic shift that happens. See, we're all vibration. Everything around us is vibrating. Everything. We're vibration. Have you noticed, and I'll give you an example, have you noticed if you go and buy a car, suddenly you see that car all around you, but you didn't notice it before? Why is that? It's because your vibration has shifted, right? It's shifted. So now you have, when your vibration shifts, you have a different level of awareness. So when you are tapped, as Abraham Hicks says, tapped in, tuned in, turned on to your vision, to your goal for yourself, and you have that knowing that you know belief, you are speaking it into being. You are thinking and pondering and meditating on it. There is a shift in the feeling that happens. The energy feeling you shifts. You get excited. It's you become this shapeshifter in your own being. When you're able to do that, you start to show up differently in the world and realize that you have a level of accountability for things that happen around you, what you attract and what you repel. You do have some accountability. And for me, that was a little hard to deal with years ago. It's like, it's easy to say, oh, I want to blame this person or this situation. But if I am a creative being, and if I am part of the divine, how powerful am I really when it comes to creating and manifesting that which I want? You think about people who go through tremendous illnesses, and because of the mindset, they are able to journey through. It doesn't mean that they're not on medications or other therapies, but their journey is a little different. And then you have others who are just very negative and woe is me and look at what's going to happen. And the journey seems to complement that. I remember I had a cousin, she's passed, and she was diagnosed with cancer years ago. And the doctors told her that it was terminal and said that you only have X amount of time to live. And she literally went home and died. I mean, in her mind, the moment she got that news, it was over. And I remember my dad went there and was talking to her and trying to give her words of encouragement. She's like, nope, the doctor says I have this much time and it's going to be over, and that is it. And do you know, within a week to the time frame that they gave her, she was gone. Coincidence? I don't know. You know, God has given us all a certain amount of time. We all have an expiration date. But are we going to focus on the expiration date, or are we going to focus on the now and live the now to the best and fullest that we possibly can? In sickness and in health, you just keep rocking what you have, right? Used to hear the old guard, you know, while I still have life in my body, I will praise God. While you still have life in your body, there is purpose for you in this world. So think about where you're going and how you're going through this journey path as an entrepreneur and your particular goals, and even reflect on how that journey looked in 2022 and ask yourself, are you positioned to hit 2023 with such momentum that success is inevitable? So you want to make sure your feelings, how you're feeling, is congruent with what it is that you say you're going to achieve. And the last and most powerful part is doing. See, I can ask, I can believe, I can think, and I can sit on the sidelines, and I can feel, and I can sit on the sidelines and do nothing and just like, I'm just waiting for it to come. Faith is action. You want to move forward in whatever it is you say you want to do. Every single day, you should be doing something toward that goal and or goals that you have for your life. Every day. As I mentioned, success leaves clues. When you look at, if you want to look at some of the great successes in our lifetime, from Oprah to Steve Jobs, elected officials, whoever you want to look at, there is a pattern. There's a knowing, there's an asking, there's a believing, there's a thinking. There's a feeling and there is a doing. They are doing what they say. So if it's, I want to speak, then every day you're doing something toward that. Even if it's speaking in front of the mirror every single day, honing your craft, coming on doing Facebook Lives, whatever it is, standing in front of your classroom if you're a teacher, to keep doing what it is that you say that you know that you were purposed to do. You know the why, because that's the fuel. It's going to keep you anchored and enable you to persevere. I'm going to pause for 1 second before we close out, and I want to encourage you with this commercial. And this is an individual who I loved. She came up with this commercial, and she wanted to get feedback. She wanted to make sure that the message was clear, that she was hitting her target audience. And sometimes we have a goal, but we're afraid to ask. Or we have a goal, but we are in this imposter syndrome, so we definitely are not going to ask. Because if I ask, then someone's going to know that I'm not who I say I am, right? But this brilliant woman said, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go back to one of my gifts and talents, and I'm going to bring it forward and embed it in my business. And I want to make sure that the audience is leaning in as I propose what I can do for them, and as I give them this call to action. So I'd like you to reflect on this as you reflect on your goals.
Are you a business owner who feels frustrated with the many tech options? Do you know how to use social media, websites, and digital business cards effectively? Millions of people just like you are searching for these answers and don't know where to turn for support.
Hi, I'm Sue Wilhite, and for over 25 years, I've helped business owners just like you to discover what really works for their business, to get rid of useless tech that's draining their money, and to increase their bottom line.
Schedule a free Zoom session with me at the link you see on the screen, and I'll review your business systems and suggest ways to make an immediate difference. The session is completely free, and you have no obligation whatsoever. Schedule your session now. It can change your life forever.
When you think about your goals, sometimes you have to sell yourself in what you say you're going to do. And when you're able to sell yourself, when you're able to get all excited, again, going back to Abraham Hicks, tapped in, tuned in, turned on to what it is that you say you are going to do, how you're going to show up. When you can sell yourself and believe it and see it and walk toward it, the universe will respond in kind. The clients will come. The relationships will improve. Your health will get better. But it requires a discipline. One of the things that John Assaraf mentioned is we can be intentional all day long. I intend. Set the intention. But are you committed to what you say you intend to do? Are you committed? There's a difference. See, when we're committed, we're going to do the work. We're going to do the work whether there's someone walking with us in that journey or not. We're going to do the work. When other people are sleeping, we're going to be doing the work. See, success is those individuals who are willing to do the work today to enjoy the lifestyle that they want to have tomorrow. They're willing to sacrifice today, whatever that may be. Creating that harmonious living, but still living with that passion. So I want to close by just reminding you those 5 keys to success. And you can go and research and study some of the great successes of our generation. And you'll see that whether they're athletes, whether they're celebrities, they have these 5 elements woven into how they show up. They are asking, right? They're journaling, they're speaking it out. They are believing that it will be. They are thinking on it every single day, not thinking about what's not going to happen, thinking about what will happen. They're feeling it. It's becoming more and more real. It's permeating their being. And then they're doing the work. They're doing the work. If you want to be a guest on Choose to Challenge, I would love to have you next year, 2023. We have one more show of the season. I cannot believe that we are already closing out 2022. It has been an amazing ride. We have had some fabulous guests talking about everything from healthcare to breast cancer, domestic violence. I mean, just really challenging those things that can get in the way from us being the best version that we can be. And I thought it was important to end this year talking about goals. Talking about goals. Next week, I'm going to end with an invitation to a free masterclass where we're going to get into this exercise of asking, believing, thinking, feeling, and doing. And it's going to be a 2-hour session where you are unpackaging you. For you. You're going to walk away with some ahas that may help you shift, not where you're going, because I believe you're already crystal clear, but shift how you show up for you every single day. Shift how you choose to partner with the universe every single day. See, we're co-creators in this beautiful journey called life. And I believe for me, and I believe for you, that the best is yet to come. So with that, if you want to be a guest on Choose the Challenge, please send an email to me at LaWanna@BradfordGroupMTG.com. It's below LaWanna@BradfordGroupMTG.com. Put Choose the Challenge in the subject line and someone from our team will get back with you. I look forward to seeing you next week for another edition of Choose to Challenge. And I just want to encourage you that in life and in business, remember that you're bigger than your circumstances. You're stronger than the obstacles that are standing before you. I believe you can leap over those hurdles, but you have to believe it. You have to own it. And you have to know that when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. Until next week, be blessed, everyone, and happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Bye-bye.